So I asked on LinkedIn what kind of content automation workflow you'd like to see next, and the answer I got was webinar to Twitter thread or X thread. So basically taking a recorded webinar and turning it into a social media post, in this case, a series of tweets linked together, otherwise known as a thread. So I'm going to do this very simply using a no-code tool. So you're probably familiar with make.com. If you haven't used it before, super simple. It's easier than things like Zapier even. So you can do this all on the free account. Just go to make.com and sign up. And then basically what you want to have ready is a webinar file. So if you recorded one of these already, then get that. It's quicker if you just take the audio and have that, because we're just using the transcript from it. So we'll be making a transcript in a second, and I'm going to show you how to do that from scratch. So this is going to be pretty simple. Basically, what you need to do is take that webinar. In this case, I've borrowed this webinar from Scylla Insights on the application of AI in market research. And so, what you could do is you could grab one of these webinars that already exists, and what you need to do is upload it somewhere where you can get a URL that is publicly accessible. Now, this is really important because we're going to use this to put into a AI transcription system. So get that. I'm using tempfiles.org, so tmpfiles.org. It's free. You can upload a file here and it only stays there for an hour. That's why it's free, but that's all you need. So upload it, and you just grab the URL here. So just copy that like that, and then in make, I'm gonna go to scenarios, create a new scenario, and then the first one you want is going to be deepgram. So search for deepgram, and then you want transcribe a pre-recorded audio file from URL. So this is where you're going to be taking that URL of the file and then transcribing it. So if you don't already have a deepgram account, just sign up for deepgram. So it's deepgram.com. You get $200 of free credit when you sign up. So this again, it won't cost anything to do that. Once you've logged in, just copy your API key when you're asked to add it in by make. So if you haven't used deepgram before, inside make, it'll just ask you for the API key, and you just paste it in, and that's ready to go. So when you've done that, you just paste in the URL here and leave all the rest of these blank, press OK. And then what we need to do next is turn this transcript into a post for X in this case. And obviously you could change this and you could do it for a different social media platform, but what we're going to do here is use Claude. So search for Claude. You could use GPT-4 as well, but Claude is better. So again, same process as with deepgram inside make. If you haven't already got a account with Anthropic Claude, then just go to just search for Anthropic API, and then click the first result, sign up. You'll get an API key, and if you verify your mobile number, you get $5 free credit. So again, shouldn't cost you anything to do that, and that $5 should go quite a long way because it's quite cheap. So go back to make. So you should, once you've added the API key, you'll get a My Anthropic Claude connection like that. Claude 3.5 Sonnet should be the default one that's already selected, so you don't need to do that. Max tokens, that's going to be how many tokens is it allowed to use. So tokens are just kind of like the API credits, and it's how long roughly is the output. So I'm going to say 2000. It could probably be less than that and it'll work, but 2000 is probably good. And then messages. So here's basically where you're entering your prompt. So if you're used to using ChatGPT, this is basically just like typing into the ChatGPT window, except it's automated, and it's gonna pull through data from the last step here from deepgram. So what you do is click user, content, add content, type text, and then in the text, what you want to do is we're going to give it a prompt. So I've already written a basic prompt for this, so I'm just going to read it out to you now. So based on the following transcript of a webinar, write a tweet thread for the following audience of startup founders interested in market research with the most unique and impactful insights from the webinar. Do not use any hashtags or emoji. The tweet will be comprised of 10 tweets based on the webinar, plus a final one with a call to action to watch the full webinar at example.com. The first tweet should introduce the thread and is allowed to use the thread emoji. It should be posed as a question to intrigue and engage the reader. It should be the first tweet in the thread and also contain the first insight. The thread should be numbered in the format n-10. So basically, like it's popular on Twitter when you write threads, just have 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, etc. So we're just explaining to do that. And then only output the tweets and no preamble such as, here's a tweet thread summarizing the key insights. Remember to separate the tweets in the output and then transcript. So basically what I'm doing, I'm just going to copy everything up to and excluding the transcript, and then go back to paste that in here. Don't worry that it doesn't have the spaces and line new lines here. It doesn't really matter, it'll work anyway. So then make sure you still have this quote mark here, and then what you want to do is you'll have this box on the left hand side. This is basically where the transcript is. So you just need to go a few levels deep in this. So results, channels, alternatives, and then you see where it says transcript. You just want to drag that over here. It's going to add this, and then at the end of that, add another quote mark. So basically what this is going to do is insert the transcript as a variable. So that's all you need. So press OK, and then we want somewhere to output this to. So I could make this a bit more advanced and actually post this directly to Twitter. So I think do we have X on here? Yeah, X. So we could actually create a post, yeah. But you're probably going to want to edit this a little bit before you post it anyway. So what I'm going to do is output it to a Google Drive, and if you want, you can send this to an editor, or you can review this yourself after it's done. So what I'm going to do is go Google Docs and add that as another step. So I'm going to go create a document and just call it example X thread from webinar. Going to put it in a folder. So I just created this webinar examples folder. So you just select the folder you want it to go in, and then content here. This needs to be from the Anthropic Claude module. So we want content and text. So drag that in there, and boom, you're done. So now if I run this, it's really impressive to me how quickly it's able to transcribe an hour-length webinar with like 99% plus accuracy, which just like a year ago was basically impossible. So what we're going to do, what it's doing again, is writing a new prompt, and should just take a couple more seconds to complete, and then I'll be able to check that out again inside of Google Docs. So obviously, like I said before, if you wanted to, you can take this a step further and actually have it publish the thread automatically on X or on another social media platform. But I like the simplicity here of just sending it to Google Docs, and you can easily edit it in Google Docs and then just copy and paste it. Cool. So you can see it's now done that, and we should have a new document in here with that new thread. So hopefully this does not have hashtags. There we go. Cool. So thread starts here, and cool. Looks pretty good. And obviously you can just edit this in place and then copy and paste into X and publish. So hopefully that was helpful. And obviously you can see there's a scope here for doing this across all kinds of different social media platforms. And also what you can do as well is generate images for each one of these as well. So I'm not going to do this time because I think most threads, typically you just have the text, but for other social media platforms, for example, some of my LinkedIn workflows, what I'm doing is generating an image with Flux. So if you want to see the full LinkedIn workflow, it's like almost 2 hours long. There's a video there, but also make some short ones too. Right, thanks for watching this, and see you later.